This is honest advice for content creators and business owners who want to grow on social media in 2026. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 things that I wish I could go back a decade ago and tell myself. Because a decade ago was when I was first getting started owning a small business. My first small business was helping moms keep their kids safe on Snapchat. It was an online course that was filmed entirely on my phone with a cheap $10 microphone that I bought off Amazon in a rented out room at the local library. It was a business that was born out of necessity and a little bit of desperation. At that time, I was a college football player and I just didn't have the time to work a 9 to 5, but I wanted to create financial independence for myself. I wanted to cut the financial umbilical cord and take the silver spoon out of my mouth. I wanted to be able to provide for myself and take care of my friends and my loved ones like my parents had taken care of me for my entire life up until that point. And I'm so thankful that young Brock started that business, but I'm also so thankful that I'm doing something vastly different today. Because I'm not teaching parents how to keep their kids safe on Snapchat anymore. I'm teaching people just like you, small business owners, content creators, brands, influencers, how to grow their following and make money on social media. So by the way, I do want to quickly ask you to subscribe because every single week on this podcast, I put out a new episode doing exactly what I just said, helping you figure out the latest trends, strategies, and techniques to see a real difference in the least amount of time possible. Some of the following 9 lessons that I'm going to share with you are going to be surprising. They're things that might catch you off guard, things that you might disagree with. And there are going to be things that you have probably heard 50 million times, things that are cliche. And just because something is cliche doesn't mean that it is false. In fact, I would say usually if something is cliche, it is extra true. And the reason that you're hearing it is because you need to hear it. The reason that you're hearing it over and over and over again is that it's something that truly matters. It's something that's truly going to make a difference. It's something that you truly need to soak up. So if you hear something today and you're like, really? This is one of the lessons that he's sharing? Yes, it is. And I hope that I can tattoo it onto your brain because while it is cliche, it is something you need to hear. And one last final thing before we get into these 9 lessons, and I absolutely hate this part. Like I honestly do. I hate this part of public speaking and YouTube videos where I have to tell you like what I'm known for. I have to tell you like my credentials because this just feels like ego stroking. And so I genuinely hate what I'm about to say, but I have a track record. I have grown over 1 million followers across all of the platforms. I'm actually about to cross 1 million followers on Instagram alone. I've built a 7-figure business and now have a staff of over 25 people. I've spoken on stages around the world. I've gotten to interview some really cool people and I've gotten to do some really kick-ass stuff. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into number 1. The first lesson that I want to teach you, the first thing that you need to hear is that quantity is more important than quality. Now, before you click away from this episode, let me explain what I mean by that. I think that your focus should be on quantity. Quality absolutely matters, whether it is the products that you are creating, whether it is the things that you're putting out, the content that you're posting, the podcast episodes you're uploading, whatever. Quality absolutely matters, and I would never in a million years encourage you to intentionally lower your quality. I would never encourage you to intentionally post shit. But what I am going to tell you to do is to focus on quantity. To say it another way, a way that you have likely heard 50 million times since you were 6 years old, practice makes progress. We are pretty much all familiar with the idea that in sports, practice is what makes you better. Of course, there used to be the expression practice makes perfect, and now it's kind of been rebranded to practice makes progress because perfect isn't the goal, and I digress. We all pretty much agree if you want to become a better basketball player, you should shoot the basketball more often. If you want to become a better painter, you should paint more paintings. If you want to become a better photographer, you should go out and take more photos. But then when it comes to content creation or owning a business or showing up online, we suddenly flip the narrative. We change the entire rules and we decide that no, we shouldn't practice. We should never fail. Every single post we make needs to be perfect. Feck perfection. And you can figure out what I'm actually saying there. Stop trying to make perfect posts. Stop over-analyzing. Stop overthinking. Stop over-critiquing every single thing that you make, and instead put it out into the world. Let the world be the judge. If it performs well, great. Why? If it didn't perform well, great. Why did it not perform well? Ultimately, you are always going to be a horrible judge of anything that you create because anything that you create, you're too close to it. Your own ego is involved. So in order to get a real assessment of whether or not your post is a good post, your podcast is a good podcast, your product is a good product that is worth buying, put it out into the world and let the world be the judge. There was once this university art professor. I believe he was a ceramics professor. And at the beginning of the semester, he decided to split his class in half. He told one half of the class, let's call them Group A, that their goal for the quarter was to create 10 perfect works. Their grade would be based off the quality of their final submissions. And so they were instructed to spend the entire quarter creating their 10 absolute best works and then submitting those for a grade at the end of the semester. The other group, let's call them Group B, was told that they would not be graded on the quality of their submissions, but instead on the quantity, the total number of works, pieces of ceramic, pieces of art that they could create during that quarter. Basically, they were told, hey, I don't care what you make, I just want you to make as much as possible. When it got to the end of the semester, both groups were graded, and you can guess where this is going. Group B absolutely smashed Group A. Did Group B have some broken vases, some horrible fails, some absolutely terrible experiments gone wrong? Yeah, absolutely. But their overall quality was far superior to Group A. Even though Group A was only focused on quality and Group A was only going to be graded on quality, Group B, who was told to focus on quantity, ended up with the better quality. So if you want to make a great reel, if you want to make a great post, if you want to go viral, if you want to grow on social media, focus on quantity. The way that you make a great post is you make 300 really shitty posts, but you improve one little thing about each post, and then before you know it, your 300th post is pretty dang good, and you have no idea how you even got there. I'll tell you how you got there. You failed 299 times before it. You are always going to suck at first. Your first pieces of content are going to be horrible. Your first business idea is going to be bad. Your first email that you ever write is going to be terrible. But you have to do the first thing that sucks in order to get to the thing that is eventually really good. Piece of advice number 2. When you are first getting started, don't chase your dreams, chase the bag. And I know this is another one that might sound confusing. It might be a little bit contradictory to what you hear from many other people, but I believe that when you are first getting started in online business, instead of searching for something that is going to fill up your soul and something that is your true calling and your purpose and your passion, do something that's going to pay the bills. Do something that's going to put money in your pocket, that's going to put food on the table. And then you can learn skills that you could apply to your purpose, to your passion in the future, or things that could fund your purpose and your passion so that your purpose and your passion can exist outside of profit. It's something that you can do just for fun and you don't have to worry about it also being something to make money. As I told you, my first business was helping moms keep their teens safe on Snapchat. That was something that I was good at. That was something that I knew there was a market for. And that was something that I knew I could do relatively easily. It's something that I could use and something that I did use to pay the bills. Now, what I'm currently doing, helping people like you grow on social media, is more aligned with something that truly brings me joy, something that truly fills up my cup. But I gotta tell you, I have a lot more fun snowboarding than I do making reels. I have not monetized snowboarding at all. I don't plan to monetize snowboarding. But my job, what I'm currently doing right now, funds the fun stuff. It funds the snowboarding trip. And so if you're someone who can get paid for doing what you absolutely love and it's easy to get paid and there's a market for it, sure, go for it. But when you're first getting started, if that's not obviously the case for you, I honestly think that you are going to have more success and more fun and more long-term return on investment, and you're actually going to get to do the stuff that is your purpose or is your passion a lot faster if at the initial stage you're focused on the profits. There's another really popular term in product development called MVP, minimum viable product. It's basically this idea that when you're first creating your rough draft or your first version of your post, your first version of your product, you create the easiest, lowest barrier, most rough, ideal prototype that you possibly can. Basically, you just want to get something in front of people, kind of going back to advice number 1, you just want to get something in front of people so that they can be the judge, they can be the deciding factor. And similarly, I don't think that you need to put so much pressure on your first product, feeling like it needs to fulfill your purpose or your passion, or it needs to be like the most soul-aligned, heart-centered thing. I think it can be something that you're good at, something that there's a market for, and something that people would be willing to buy. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to sell your soul and you need to do something that you hate. Do something that you can tolerate, do something that you like, but it ultimately doesn't need to be like that number one magical thing that you love and that you plan on doing for the next 70 years. Advice number 3 is a little bit more tactical, and it is don't rely on the platform to pay you. The only platform where I really think that you can make a living off of just posting on the platform and nothing else is YouTube. But that takes years. It takes hundreds of thousands of subscribers and tens of millions of monthly views in order to earn a full-time income from YouTube. Those are just the facts. My shirt says it. Facts are facts. Don't rely on Instagram to pay you. Instagram doesn't even pay most people. Like 95% of creators, I think it's actually like 99% of creators will never receive a penny from Instagram. TikTok pays a little bit better than Instagram, a little bit worse than YouTube, but still, I would not rely on YouTube paying you for the views that you are getting on the platform. I want you to think about even your favorite creators on the planet, your favorite influencers, the biggest YouTubers, the people with the biggest followings that you can think of, even the Mr. Beasts of the world, even Mr. Beast himself ultimately does not just rely on the platform to pay his bills. Yes, Mr. Beast is literally earning millions of dollars per month from YouTube, but even him, he has his own business with Feastables and with Beast Games and all these other collaborations he's doing. Every single high-level creator that you can think of is also a business owner. Because at the end of the day, if you are purely a creator, hoping that these platforms like Instagram, Meta, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, are going to pay you, then you're not an entrepreneur. You are an employee of these platforms. And instead of having a contract and a 9-to-5 job that you clock in and clock out of, you're creating content and just hoping that these platforms are going to pay you fairly, which they're not. So instead, I want you to consider other sources of income, other streams of income, such as affiliate marketing. When you are first getting started, I am a huge fan of affiliate marketing. And affiliate marketing is basically where you can promote someone else's product, and then when you make a sale of said product, you get a commission. Almost every platform, every business, every brand has some form of affiliate marketing. And even if they don't, Amazon has what's called Amazon Associates, which is basically you can become an affiliate for any product on Amazon. And since pretty much every product on the planet is on Amazon, boom, you can basically be an affiliate for almost any product. It's a great way to practice selling. It's a great way to introduce your audience to what it's like to be sold to by you. And in the future, when you move on to another stream of income, such as brand deals, you can tell these brands, hey, brand, in the past, I was an affiliate for this product and I made this post and it got this many views and made this many sales. And so you, as the brand, you better pay me X amount of money. Like I was just saying, the second way that you can earn an income outside of affiliate marketing is brand deals. Brand deals is essentially where a brand or company will pay you or sponsor you to make posts for them. Similar to that, but slightly different, is what's called UGC, or user-generated content. UGC is where a brand is paying you to create content for them, but rather than posting it on your own feed for your own audience, basically instead of advertising the brand to your followers, you are just creating the advertisement and then giving it to the brand so that they can use it on their page, in their ads, or whatever. And then last but not least, my favorite way to monetize your audience and to make money as a content creator or business owner is to create something that you own, whether it's a physical product or a digital product, whether it is a physical service or a digital service. Providing something that you own is ultimately what it takes to be a business owner and to pay the bills with this whole content creation thing. Oh yeah, and one more thing before we move on to the fourth piece of advice. Honestly, this last thing could have been its entirely own piece of advice. This last thing probably could have been the entire episode. If you take nothing else away from this episode, I hope it's this right here. Start a flippin' email list. You absolutely need an email list. I'm a firm believer that if you do not have an email list, you do not have a business. So please use StanStore, use High Level, use whatever platform you prefer, use Kajabi, use whatever to start your email list. You need to start an email list if you want to be a successful online business owner. Piece of advice number 4 is to ask the question who, not how. We have been trained almost our entire lives to ask how. How do I get more followers? How do I get more views? How do I start my email list? How do I make more sales? How? When instead, I think we need to get in the habit of asking who. Who has done this before me? Who could help me do this more efficiently? Who could I employ to do this on my behalf? Who could I ask this question to? Asking the question who and not how will accelerate your growth and will make this whole online business thing so much more easier and more efficient. There's a great book on this topic called Who Not How. I highly recommend reading it. The book will walk you through a lot of very helpful mindset shifts and helpful strategies that you can use. But generally speaking, I want you to get in the practice of outsourcing, which means hiring help. One of the best things that I did as a business owner was when I was 6 months into owning that first business, the Snapchat course thing, and I hired an assistant. I hired an assistant because I had all these mentors telling me, you need to hire help, you need to start outsourcing, you need to get an assistant. I hired this assistant and I honestly had no idea what to have her do. I was paying her, but I was like, I don't even know what you should be doing for me. So I had her checking my emails for a couple minutes every day, but I was also 19 at the time. So how many emails was I really getting? And I had her doing some random research and side projects here or there. In that first month after hiring her, I made double what I had in the first 6 months of my business, the 6 months prior to hiring her. And it wasn't, like I said, necessarily because she was bringing in a bunch of new clients or because she was really a difference maker for the business. No offense to her. It was because I suddenly had help. I suddenly had all these little things that I didn't have to worry about. I suddenly had someone else who I was responsible for. If I didn't follow through on something, I didn't just have to look myself in the mirror. I had to look her in the mirror. So outsource and hire help. There are lots of really creative ways that you can do it for trades, for swaps, do it in ways that are not going to break the bank, that are going to be more affordable. In addition to hiring help, I mentioned a moment ago that I had mentors. Mentors, hire coaches, join courses, watch podcasts and YouTube videos just like this one right here. I do want to caution you to actually implement what you're learning. So as you are learning from today's episode, if you ever hire a coach, if you ever join the InstaClubHub or some online course, implement what you are learning. Don't just be a lifelong learner, be a lifelong implementer. But hiring coaches and mentors and help, people who have done what you want to do already and paying them for their knowledge will ultimately save you a lot of time, energy, and headaches along the way. And it will allow you to get to their level so much quicker than if you were just trying to figure it out on your own. And you are absolutely in luck because one of the best ways that you can outsource today is with artificial intelligence. Whether it's just an AI chatbot or a full AI agent, that wasn't an option to me in 2016. And so you have a leg up. You are starting ahead of where I started back then because you have the ability to use these tools that might cost you $19 a month that can do a lot of the routine, habitual, or nitty-gritty tasks that maybe you don't like doing or you suck at. Now, like I said, when I was 19 was when I created that Snapchat course. But even before that, my whole life growing up, I had been starting little bitty businesses here and there. I'd been selling things. I'd been coming up with inventions and just trying to find ways to creatively make money as a literal elementary school kid. And the very first step into online business that I ever took was after I got a book for Christmas that was about different creative ways that you could tie people's shoes. And not just the actual knots, but actually weaving the shoelaces and creating patterns and designs. And I really enjoyed doing that. And so I started a business back in third grade that was called Lace My Kicks. Lace My Kicks even had its own website where I would advertise and tell people that they could send me their shoes. And for, I think it was $20, I would lace up their kicks. I would tie their shoes in a unique way of their design with their color laces of choice and then send it back to them. I never actually got any customers, but I did have a website designed. And I remember that as a third grader, I had no idea how to build a website, but my mom was like, well, you should hire a website designer to build the website for you. And so I ended up spending $300. It was my entire birthday money plus 3 years of allowances. And I paid that to a graphic designer, a website designer, to build the website for me. And it still took her about 2 or 3 months to build it. So it took about 90 days and $300 to have this custom built website. And mind you, this was about 20 years ago, before AI and all these amazing tools that we have today. The fifth thing that I need to tell you is that it takes time. Oh my goodness, can you please be patient? It is wild to me, the expectations that some people have around their growth and the magical, mystical dream timeline that they have set up in their brain. And if they don't have X number of followers or X number of dollars or X number of sales by X date, then they're a failure. Oh my gosh, there is no timeline. And I understand why. It's because there are all these people on social media telling you that they made $30,000 their first month in business. They went viral with their first ever post. They blew up overnight. You know what the crazy thing about overnight success is? It almost never happens overnight. Overnight success is almost always the result of months, if not years, if not decades, of work behind the scenes. Work that is sometimes called lonely work or shadow work because it's done when nobody's watching. It's done when people don't know your name, when they don't know your content, when they don't know your business. On my Instagram recently, I was talking about a study that we did of our InstaClubHub members, and we found that our average engaged member grew by 15,947 followers per year. And someone messaged me and they said, only 15,000 per year? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they said, shouldn't it be 15,000 a month? And I was like, you think that the average person should be growing at 15,000 followers per month? And they said, well, do you think it's realistic to grow 100,000 followers a month? And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for this person because while it's possible to grow 100,000 followers in a month, it's extremely unrealistic. It's extremely unlikely. The average Instagram business account grows about 8% per month. 8%. That means if your Instagram has 1,000 followers, the average growth that you'll see is about 80 new followers per month. I give you that as a baseline, but I don't even want you to compare yourself to that number because maybe you're growing 40 followers a month. Maybe you're losing followers every month. I don't want you to compare because growth takes time. And the timeline and journey that you are on is separate and distinct and totally unique from anyone else out there. So while overnight growth is possible, while going viral and having fast success is doable, these things are not the norm. Social media has made us expect that these things are going to happen quickly. They're not. So embrace that it's going to suck. Embrace that it's going to take a long time. Embrace that whatever it is that you're going to be doing it for not just months, but probably years, if not decades. Buckle up. Before we move on to number 6, I want to tell you that everything I'm saying in this episode, I'm saying with love. I am not saying because I think I'm better than you. I'm not saying because I think I know more than you. I think as entrepreneurs, it is not our job to have all of the answers, but rather to ask all of the questions. And so in this episode, while my words might be coming across a little bit more harsh or aggressive than I normally do, I hope you know it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place that I genuinely want to help you. I genuinely want to see you win. And I genuinely want you to experience less stress on the daily. With all that being said, number 6, please get over yourself. And I know that sounds harsh, but having a big ego is going to kill your business because having a big ego is going to make you think that you have all the answers. You know everything to do. You know the best decisions to make. You know what makes a good post, and you're not willing to listen to your audience's feedback. You're not willing to accept that that reel that you spent 3 hours editing didn't perform well because it just wasn't very good. So please leave your ego at the door. Leaving your ego at the door and getting over yourself will also allow you to rewatch your content. I believe that rewatching your content is helpful. Now, not rewatching it 50 million times before you post it. We've talked about that. But rewatching it after you've posted it. Listen, when you first get started in entrepreneurship and creating content, you're not going to want to listen to yourself because you're going to hate the way you sound on camera. You're going to hate the way your voice sounds. You're going to hate the way you look. That's normal. We all do. I used to hate the sound of my voice on camera, but I've re-listened to enough of my own podcasts. I've rewatched enough of my own YouTube videos. I've heard myself talk for hours and hours and hours. So now I'm numb to it. It does. I can agree that my voice on camera sounds different than how I hear it in my head, but that's something that doesn't affect me anymore. It's something that doesn't make me cringe. Speaking of cringe, who cares if you're cringe? If someone calls you cringe, you might be cringe, but they're mean, and that's worse. So embrace being cringe, embrace being imperfect, embrace making mistakes. We all go on social media looking for people who are genuine, who are authentic, who are raw, real, and imperfect. And yet, when we go to make content ourselves, we suddenly think that we can't be those things. We need to be polished and perfected. We can't be cringed. We need to be buttoned up and professional and look like we have it all together. No, that is absolutely not true. Be the kind of content creator who you want to consume content from. Be the kind of business owner who you want to follow on social media. Who cares about being cringe? Be you, make mistakes, have flaws, be imperfect, and show up online anyways because your future self will thank you for it and your current followers will thank you for it. And then one quick little sidebar that will help you is don't ever read the comments. I mean, if a post is going viral, if it's reaching a lot of people, definitely do not read the comments. It's okay to read the comments if you're getting like 3 or 4 comments on your posts, but don't read comments on your viral posts. Don't look at Reddit. Don't read forums about yourself. Don't read the reviews. Stay away from that crap. Focus on what your real circle, your friends and family, the people whose opinions of you actually matter, rather than digging through the internet looking for the opinions from strangers who saw one 3-second clip that was taken out of context. Do not go looking for that stuff. And if you happen to see it, look away. Don't deep dive. Don't go through the person's profile. Block them, move on, do something else to forget about it, and your mental health will be a whole heck of a lot better. Number 7 is to stay in your lane. A few times today, I've talked about comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. Such a famous cliche, but it absolutely is true. So stop comparing yourself to others. And one of the easy ways that you can compare yourself to others is by following them and keeping up with them on social media, watching their stories, watching their highlight reels of posts that they're making about the magical life that they're living and the crazy vacation they went on and how much money they made. Unfollow those people, block those people, mute those people. Stop consuming that kind of content. If when you go on social media, the content that you are consuming makes you feel worse about yourself, if it makes you feel like you need to be hustling harder, like you need to be neglecting the things that actually matter to you, if it makes it feel like you need to be changing your priorities in life and neglecting or denying the boundaries that you have set in place that are healthy and helpful, if that is the kind of content that you're seeing or following, block, mute, disable, unfollow, whatever you got to do to stay away from that stuff. When you are constantly in a place of consuming other people's content, it makes it a lot tougher for you to create from a place of genuine authenticity. The more consuming you do, the tougher it will be to create. So stop over-consuming and definitely stop consuming the stuff that makes you feel worse about yourself. And speaking of the content that we consume, and this one is going to be a little bit of a hot take, do not expect your friends and family to support you. It would be awesome if they did. Be happy and grateful when they do. You can hope that they're going to support you, but don't expect them to, because that's going to lead to resentment. They signed up to be your friend, or maybe they were born into your family by blood. And while sure, you could say, well, a good friend would support me in my business no matter what I'm doing, maybe they're not interested in that product. And for you as a business owner, do you really want a business that is 100% supported because of friends and family? No, you don't. You want to build a big business, a business that pays the bills. You don't want a business that only exists because your grandma and your aunt and your best friend from high school are paying you every month. I promise, if you can stop focusing on the lack of support from your friends and family, you will start to find people in this online space who will support you. People who are in maybe a similar niche, or they also follow you on Instagram, or they're going to become a customer or whatever, and they're going to become your supporters. They're going to be your biggest fans, and they're going to become your friends. There are so many beautiful relationships that I have formed because of this business. And to be totally honest with y'all, I don't think I've ever had a friend become a customer. I don't think I've ever had a family member purchase something from me. I don't expect them to do so. I don't get mad at them at the Thanksgiving dinner table because they didn't buy my latest course. If they do bring it up, if they do have questions, if they do want to support, or if they do want to learn more, sure, I'll tell them about my business. But I know that at the end of the day, friends and family are friends and family, and other people are the fans and customers. Speaking of friends and family, I think there's a difference between not supporting by not becoming a customer, like not paying or not following you, or maybe even not engaging with your posts, and actively talking shit, actively being a hater, actively belittling your dreams and causing you to not believe in yourself. Big difference between those two. I think that if someone doesn't buy something, they could still be your friend. But if they don't buy something and they're actively talking negatively about your business or telling you that you shouldn't chase your dreams, that person is not a friend. And so they need to be cut off. If that person is a family member, they need to be cut off too. But this brings me to piece of advice number 8, which is that you need to believe in yourself. Because if you won't believe in yourself, no one else will. I think that it's very powerful to surround yourself with a small group of people who do believe in you, who do cheer you on, and who do hype you up. Even if they're not necessarily buying or liking every post, just in general, people who support your dreams and who are enthusiastic and optimistic about what it is you're doing, that is important. But even if you don't have those people, I want you to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. The person who believes they can and the person who believes that they cannot are both usually correct. So please believe in yourself. Have an unwavering optimism and self-belief that what you dream of, the goals you set out to achieve, you will achieve and that they are possible. And then finally, the ninth piece of advice that I want to leave you with is to focus on the audience rather than the algorithms. These algorithms are so dang annoying. They change all the time. And yes, I will always be here to update you as they continue to change and as there are new best practices and strategies and rules and do's and don'ts. But ultimately, I need you to focus on the audience. The audience is the people who will become your customers, the people who will become your fans, the people who will become your loyal supporters. And so rather than catering to some robotic math equation that determines your success and failure, I want you to put the people first. Ultimately, marketing is way more about human psychology than it is about sales strategies. It's way more about understanding the person on the other side of the phone, the person who's watching your podcast, the person who's consuming your reels, the person who might be buying your product, rather than understanding some quick tips and some marketing lingo and the latest sales page strategies and the latest hacks to get more views on your episodes. Instead, I want you to focus on the user experience. I want you to focus on the psychology. I want you to focus on empathizing with your audience, the pain points that they're struggling with, the challenges that they face, and the goals that they want to achieve. If you do that, and if you do the other 8 things that I mentioned today, you will have success on social media. It might not be in 2026. It might not be in 2027. It probably won't happen immediately, but it will happen eventually and definitely. Thank you so much for listening today. And as always, happy networking.